Major news coming from overseas on Sunday. 15 countries have signed on to what is now the world's largest trading bloc, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or also known as the RCEP in your hood. It covers a third of the global economy and includes China, South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and other Southeast Asian countries. The deal excludes the U.S., which withdrew from a rival Asia-Pacific trade pact in 2017. Joining us now with more is Sara Hsu, who's the visiting scholar at Fudan University and Chinese economy expert. Sara, great to have you here with us today. Let's dive into this. Yeah, absolutely. And how did this trade bloc come about? What kind of negotiations and concessions had to be made in order for this trade agreement to come together?
Right. So it's been pretty long in coming, a long 8 years with 28 rounds of talks. And it was slated to be completed in 2015, but this didn't happen because there was a lack of existing comprehensive economic agreements. There was a gap in terms of political and economic conditions in various countries. So it took a long time to come about, but at last it's been signed.
I want to get your reaction to what we heard from President-elect Joe Biden today, asked about this new trade deal at a press conference within the last hour. Let's play a clip of his remarks for our viewers.
I've talked with a number of these world leaders, and I told them, under the law, I'm not able to begin to discuss with them. There's only one president at a time as to who can say what our policy will be. So I'm reluctant to answer that question now, but here's what I can say. We make up 25% of the world's trading capacity of the economy of the world. We need to be aligned with the other democracies, another 25% or more, so that we can set the rules of the road instead of having China and others dictate outcomes because they are the only game in town.
And so, Sara, with those comments from President-elect Biden, could you see an administration, a Biden administration, that would negotiate its way into this deal?
I don't know that the U.S. is necessarily going to enter this deal. They may enter the new Trans-Pacific Partnership, which was a deal that excluded China. But this one really hones down to regional trade and improving regional supply chains. And it does put China in the driver's seat, although it wasn't necessarily intended to do so. But I think that, whenever you're putting up protectionist walls and eliminating free trade, you're leaving money on the table. And you are increasing costs to firms and consumers. And it is not the best thing for the economy. So I think it would be great to see the U.S. be more active in terms of participating in free trade agreements.
Axios reporting that President Trump's plans to enact a series of hardline policies that would impact U.S. China trade relations and talks in his final weeks in office. How difficult will it be for the Biden administration to ultimately step in and repair the relationship with China and its trade partners?
Well, I think we see a really different political climate these days with relation to China. Biden has had to have somewhat of a tougher stance on China than his predecessor, Obama, in terms of Democratic presidents. And I think that it would be very challenging to roll back some of the measures that have already been put into place, such as the tariffs. That seems like something that is necessary, however, due to the high cost imposed by it. And I think, it's entirely possible that President Trump is going to implement some additional policies that will make it even harder for the U.S. to recuperate its previous good relations, smooth relations with China, and to improve free trade in that regard.
And so this may sound like a simple question, but I guess purely for our edification, why is this trade agreement so important, and how does it rank as a successor to the Trans-Pacific Partnership?
Well, in some ways it's very impactful. In other ways it's not so much. It does sort of solidify agreements that are already in place, but it does increase free trade, reduce tariffs to some extent, especially in the industries of automobile and steel. And it also will help to sort of bring economies back from the coronavirus. Is projected to increase GDP by $200 billion annually. And so, that is not a small thing. I think that there are some real benefits to it. It'll make it easier for companies to engage with others in the region in terms of streamlining processes. And so I think it's a real benefit to a lot of countries, even if there were measures in place that sort of led up to this point.
And just lastly, while we have you, on the question of perception and how other countries, particularly those that the Biden administration is going to look to strike deals with, how has the perception of the U.S. impacted where those potential deals are set to come forth?
I think that, it's going to be difficult, as I mentioned before, for the U.S. to get back to regular relations with China. It did have very good relations for a long time. U.S. multinationals benefited extensively from that. So I think that it is in the U.S.'s interest to get back on track in terms of free trade with China. But I think it'll have to come slowly. And also the U.S. is likely interested in more free trade with ASEAN because it's a huge, important region in terms of producing economic growth.
Certainly. Sara Hsu, visiting scholar at Fudan University and Chinese economy expert, joining us here today.